Everybody, welcome back. So, when we left off, Shade had gotten out. Gemma had stolen Ranger Grimes' ID so she could get down to the saloon, which was weird. So, why'd she go there? Let's find out. The moment I stepped out onto the catwalk, I spotted Gemma 3 stories down, pacing the saloon floor. The whole place was dark and deserted, though half full tankards littered the tables and seaweed cigars smoldered in the ashtrays. I ran down the first stair ladder and paused at the top of the second. Just as I opened my mouth to call down, a movement behind her tightened my throat. A dark figure peeled away from the window. Shade. Advancing on her, he brightened with each step. Behind you, I croaked, but it was too late. Like a striking cobra, Shade's hand shot around her face and covered her mouth. Straddling the stairladder banister, I slid to the first catwalk. I had no weapon, no way to stop him from hurting her. I hit the grilled floor and sprang to my feet. Leave her alone! Shade turned to face him. I dashed toward the opposite side of the hanging platform to the stairs that led to the saloon floor, chancing a look over the rail as I ran. As Gemma gazed up at Shade, his skin smoothed out and his dark color drained away, including his coiling tattoos, leaving him pale, but not albino. Aside from his bandaged wound, his feather-shaped bruise marked his skin. My own arm ached along the points of my matching bruise. I skidded to a stop at the top of the first stair ladder. Why wasn't she struggling to get away? Shade's grip on her was loose, gentle. He glanced up. As his eyes found me, they blanched to a solid white, and then the centers blossomed into blue. And all at once, I understood. Shade was Gemma's brother. Did you know that? Some of you probably figured it out, right? Mm. He was a very different Richard than the one in the photograph, but even with his head shaved his, and bulging muscles, the man standing before her was obviously her brother, pale, freckled, and blue-eyed. When his transformation was complete, Gemma threw her arms around him, and I felt sick to the core. Had she known he was Richard all along? The way she was hugging him sure meant it wasn't new information. Unable to tear my gaze from their reunion, I descended, moments replaying in my head, taking on alternate meanings. The dark figure on the docking ring. That was Shade watching Gemma pull off her disguise. Maybe that's when he recognized her. So when the specter chased us, he wasn't after me. He had been trying to catch up with Gemma. And last night, when he had invaded our homestead, he had come for her. Nausea gave way to anger as I realized how I'd been duped to aid in his escape. My feet hit the saloon floor with a dull thud, echoing the feeling inside my chest. Gemma whirled and saw me. After a moment of silence, it was clear she didn't know what to say, so I filled in the words for her. That was a great act you put on tonight. You really had me believing you were scared out of your skin. I didn't know it was Richard. Not until you went to go get the ranger and we were alone. Right, I said, even though there was nothing right about any of it. How could I have known? She asked, and then turned to Shade. Why didn't you tell me who you were last night? I wanted to get you alone. The rest of the world thinks I'm dead. He shot me a hard look. And it better stay that way. What did his not so subtle threat matter? I now believed Gemma didn't know who he was until half an hour ago, so I felt somewhat better, not a total sap. You spilled your own blood inside that sub? Gemma asked him. But Doc said no one could lose that much and live. He saved it up, I guessed. Froze it, pint by pint over time. Shade grinned. Knew you were a smart kid. What good does it do you? I asked angrily. You're still wanted as Shade. The Rangers ain't my worry. I got a bigger threat hanging over me. You got the same one.
You just don't know it. Like I'm going to believe anything you say. The Commonwealth is pulling out of the territory because of you and your gang. Best thing that could happen. You don't want to be dependent on the wealth, kid. His tone turned nasty. Someone might take advantage of it. I glared at him.
Ty, please, Gemma begged softly, but I couldn't bring myself to think of this outlaw as her brother. Even light-eyed and freckled, the man radiated danger and had Shade's hypnotic voice.
You get the money I sent? He asked, giving her braid a tug. She nodded. It's clean, not stolen. Put it away for school.
School? I'm coming with you. Surprised, he dropped her braid.
This is a visit, nothing more.
I didn't come all this way to risk getting eaten for a visit. You said we'd have a home of our own someday, with our own quality time room.
A faint smile pulled at his lips. You were little when I said that.
So, remembering it got me through the weekends when all the families were together and the holidays. I didn't mind being alone because you said that when you were grown, we'd do all the things that real families do together. On your 21st birthday, I waited for you. I had your present and a cake and my bags packed. I glanced at Shade, but reading his face was like trying to gauge how the stone deities in my room were feeling. And when Doc said you were dead, and Anyway, I was alone again, only this time I didn't have the hope of being with you to make it okay. She met his gaze head on. Were you even going to tell me you were still alive?
You know I would have,
He said, and even sounded like he meant it.
but that changes nothing. You're going back to the top side tonight.
Why can't I live with you on the Spectre?
Shade threw his head back and laughed. It was a deep, rumbling sound like an underwater earthquake. Live with outlaws? That's why I've gutted fish for 3 years. Gemma stiffened, but before she could argue further, a crack echoed through the saloon, and a blinding spotlight caught us in its beam. Freeze! Commanded a voice from above as boots clanged on the ladder.
Who's here to get him? You'll have to tune in next time to find out. See you later.